Tomorrow's World, and spoofing that kind of weird, clunky type of show that you used to get in the early 80s. And I see that Peter Serafinowicz and Robert Popper are on Jimmy Carr and Ian Morris's show tomorrow on XFM. You can catch that from 10 a.m.
You know, another great series starting next week is Boot Camp. Series 2 of Boot Camp.
That's right. Yeah, you were obsessed by that before.
Were you not obsessed by it?
I liked it. I got into it, yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. That starts on Tuesday, so it's a great week for telly.
And, of course, speaking of Jimmy Carr, there's Channel 4's big new entertainment show on Friday night, which is called The Friday Night Project. You've probably seen some of the trails.
Does that start this Friday?
It starts next Friday coming up, yeah. And it says in the Guardian Guide, could this be another stab at creating a wacky TFI zoo TV show? Yes, is the answer. Jimmy Carr, Rob Rouse, who's a very funny comedian, Sharon Horgan, who I don't know much about, and Lucy Montgomery, who I also am ignorant of, are joined by guest host Vinnie Jones, going to the dogs, Abby Titmus with a mystery sex tape challenge, and Charlie from Busted, showing everyone how totally indie he really is with his new band, Fight Star.
Crikey, they're really throwing everything they can at that one.
Why are they starting with Vinnie?
Well, Vinny's brilliant. Didn't you see him on the Marion and Jeff Chat Show, whatever it's called, the Keith Barrett Show last night?
No, you know, I seldom catch that show. Was it good?
Oh, no. No.
So you were being ironic when you said that Vinny was brilliant?
Yeah, of course I was.
Oh.
He's awful.
It's dreadful. But anyway, the Friday Night Project should be interesting, and Jimmy Carr's always good, and Rob Rouse is a very funny comedian, so there's lots of good things to be said for that, and I'll certainly be checking it out.
Question for you, Adam Buxton, and listeners. What is the worst non-human family in an advert?
That sounds interesting, let's talk about it. Let's start talking now.
Okay. I'd like to offer you some choices.
Go on then.
The fabric softener family, who are made from stitched-up clothes.
Good reference.
I believe it's Comfort.
Yeah.
And they sort of hang each other on the line and snog and do things that families do, but they look as if they're made from sort of fluorescent patches of old flesh.
Yes.
But actually they're stitched together from bits of material.
And they're stitched in such a way that their faces just look really pathetic and slappable.
And they're not even stitched. I think they're computer generated. So you don't even have the feel that someone's actually knitted them together lovingly.
Oh, I thought they were stop motion. I don't know.
I don't know. They make me feel ill.
I agree with you.
Okay, family number 2, the PG Tips plasticine birds.
Oh, okay.
Who replaced the monkeys or whatever they had before.
They're Aardman.
They're Aardman, yeah. A family of birds.
I don't mind the
You don't mind them?
PG Tips family.
What about, and this I think is the worst advert, so-called family, and all these adverts are basically trying to do a riff on The Simpsons, really, create a lovable, non-human family. The Dolmio Italian puppet family.
Well, we've talked about the Dolmio family before.
When the Yard Dolmio Day.
They are horrible.
They're terrible.
They're frightening, because, they're absolutely awful, because they're, not only are they quite annoyingly badly animated, they are just this grotesque caricature of Italian people. And, yes, I want to roll them into a big ball and throw them in the bin.
Yeah. And the other really bad advert family on telly, the BBC had going for a while to advertise their Freeview boxes. They were a family of Byler remembers those. That's my top 4 most annoying non-human families in adverts.
That's very, very good top 4. Maybe your listeners would like to send in their own top 4 in a similar vein. You can email us at adamandjoe@xfm.co.uk. That's Adam, A-N-D, rather than an ampersand.
And I think I got them all. Are there any others?
I don't know, I can't think. I'm no good at just thinking.
Okay.
This is Adam and Joe on XFM. Here is Fidar. That's the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Sounding a little bit bored and tired there, don't you think?
Who, the Chili Peppers?
Yeah.
Hey, we're just relaxing on a lovely day.
Is it one of those, sometimes bands release sort of sleeper singles just to fill in between their next big corker?
No, that was from their big album, By the Way.
There you go.
Yeah, the Californian Quartet's 8th album. 8 albums of music by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. This is Adam and Joe on XFM. What are you looking worried about there, Joe?
No, I was just going to say we've been discussing inanimate advert families. We've got a top 5 worst inanimate advert families. Now, a lot of people who texted and emailed suggesting the post office ants.
I've got nothing against the
You
post
see, I
office
quite
ants.
like the post office ants
Yeah.
as well, especially when they have a chase in their remote-controlled cars, because I think it's a very well-directed chase with little remote-controlled cars.
It occurred to me when I was watching one of those ads the other day that I love ants in any form.
Really?
I love ants, and especially when they're animated. I love the film Ants,
Do you?
for example. I rate the film Ants over the film Bug's Life.
Well,
And
that's controversial.
I've had quite a few arguments with people about that.
Another suggestion is the charming bears. The bears what wipe their bums on telly.
Don't mind charming bears.
I don't like to see animals use toilet paper. I just think it's wrong.
Well, the weird thing about the charming bears is that whole conceit is based on the the phrase, a bear
Poos in the woods.
poos in the woods. Yeah. So it's based on kind of an expletive-heavy phrase. Well, it's got one expletive in it.
Yeah.
And out of that, you've got this cute bear family going out and doing bear tods.
I just think it's wrong for a bear to sort of use the loo in any sort of way.
Why? He doesn't want to get, like, fur clogged up with dingleberries and
That's
stuff.
his tongue.
His tongue?
Yeah.
What are
he's
you
a bear.
talking about?
That's what animals do.
How long do you think his tongue is?
Well, it doesn't, he can bend over.
We should move on.
Yeah, okay. So there we go. So, Adam, you were asking me about Sideways.
Yeah.
Big new movie.
Ooh, new movie?
Yeah, big new movie.
Big new movie.
Scooping all the awards in America. Sideways is about two middle-aged blokes that go off on a sort of saucy weekend, the weekend before one of them's getting married. And they're wine lovers, and they drink a lot of wine, and they have sort of dalliances with ladies. And it's basically very influenced by With Nail and I.
Is it?
It's made by the guy that did Election and About Schmidt, Alexander Payne, and he's a big fan of With Nail and I, and it's based on a novel, and the guy that wrote the novel was a big fan of With Nail and I. So it's a weird sort of American middle-aged take on With Nail and I.
Interesting fact.
Thank you. But the one thing, so I went to see Sideways.
Yeah.
And the one thing I found a little bit, tricky about it was this business of the wine metaphor going through the whole film. Because they've obviously used wine as a metaphor for life. So, for instance, there's a scene where the grumpy one, what's the actor called? Paul Giacometti? Giamatti.
He was in American Splendor.
There you go, yeah. He's sort of Hollywood's, trendy, grumpy. He's sort of the Steve Buscemi of the new millennium.
Yeah, I know the guy you mean.
So his character is kind of a vulnerable, sensitive, needy, grumpy, insular guy that needs special care and is secretly brilliant. And he sits down
like me.
like you. He sits down and chats up this woman, and she says to him, "Why do you like Pinot so much?" Pinot wine, obviously. And he goes, "Well, it's a difficult grape. It's vulnerable, sensitive. It only grows in the most particular of places. It needs special care, considered nurturing. But when it finds a place it can flourish, someone who understands its peculiarities, it's capable of producing the most wonderfully profound, most exquisite, most ancient flavors in the world."
Like him!
At which point, yeah, she should go, "What, you mean like you? The wine's very similar to you, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah." But she doesn't. She just goes, "Oh, that's beautiful."
Well, isn't it being said for comic effect, though, all that, to make it so specific?
Wait a second. She doesn't say that. So instead he says to her, so what got you into wine?" And she said, "I think it was when I realized that wine evolves, depending on the weather, where it grows, the amount of care it gets. Every bottle is alive. Every day it tastes different as it slowly, incontrovertibly matures into something rich and wonderful, then slowly fades." At which point he should say, "Wine's like people, isn't it? Wine's very similar to people, like you and me. We're like wine."
Yeah, and you're going to
But
get
they
very
don't.
excited when I pull my cork out.
Yeah, but they don't at any
He could have said.
Say that.
Well, but it's still a good film, though,
It's
right?
a great film, Sideways. Yeah, I do recommend it.
And you're sure they're not just playing all those moments for ludicrous effect?
No.
Oh, okay. You know, we need a jingle for when we talk about movies, Joe.
We do. I don't know. I think we might be.
No, you can't get too jingle heavy.
I don't know.
Lots of
I
jingles.
don't know.
Jingles.
I think we should have a meeting after the show about the jingles.
Jingles.
Listeners, more jingles? Maybe less jingles? What do you think about our current jingle status?
Don't ask the listeners. They'll just email us that we should kill ourselves or something. Right now, I've got a track for you. This is a free play, and it's Weezer, and it's from their first album, and it's a song I love called Holiday. Oh, I love it, Joe. I love it, because it reminds me of holidays. because of the name of the song. And I thought it might be nice to play today because it's a really filthy January
it's a crap
day.
day. End of the world day.
Hope this cheers you up a bit. Here's Weezer.
There we go, that was The Hounds of Love by the Future Heads.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a cover of the Kate Bush classic, of course. And I believe the Future Heads are playing at the NME Awards. No, they're playing the NME Awards tour alongside the Killers, the Kaiser Chiefs Block Party in February Academy on Wednesday, February the 9th. That'll be really good. I wonder if they're going to be at the NME Brat Awards. You know, Simon Pegg and Frosty
Are hosting that, are they?
are hosting.
We
yeah.
were asked to be on the panel for that, weren't we?
Were we?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
So listen, I've got a question.
Go on then.
How often do you open a magazine and read its reviews and get amazingly incensed about a review, say a bad review of something that you love? Does that happen to you a lot?
Yeah, and you know, what I generally do is avoid buying those magazines until it's got to the stage that I only really buy a couple of mags now.
Well, that must be all magazines, because this week I opened Empire magazine.
Well,
I was
what-
having quite a tough morning.
Yeah.
I get a Empire sent to me in the post, opened it up, and I read their review for The Life Aquatic, which is one of my favourite films of the year so far, the Wes Anderson film, Life Aquatic with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
3 out of 5. I was so angry. I was incensed. I really was. I thought, what? I thought, Empire, you callow, gutless tossers. I thought. Because, I don't know,
You were incensed.
I was so incensed. Do you know what I did? I looked at their contents page and I noticed the number of the reviews editor was published in the magazine. That's an invitation to call him up and berate him.
What did you really
Well, I
call him
thought,
up?
I'm going to call him up. I'm going to give this idiot a piece of my mind.
Yeah.
Because he's missed it. He's completely missed it. Life Aquatic is a flawed film. It's not a perfect film, but most of it is incredible. Some of it's incredible. And you can't tell hundreds and thousands of readers that it's a 3 out of 5 and they shouldn't bother. And then then give Alexander 4 out of 5. Give Closer, which is the biggest load of old rubbish I've ever seen, 4 out of 5. Give Lemony Snicket, which is the crappest bit of characterless dross, 4 out of 5.
But Joe, this
Give
is
Ray, which is...
On a roll.
What did you see Ray?
I have seen Ray,
What
yeah.
do you think of Ray? Out of 5?
I'd give it 3.
They gave it 4. Jackass the movie, out of 5, what would you give it?
Jackass the movie, I'd give that 4.
They gave it 4. Attack of the Clones, what would you give it?
I'd give that 2.
5, they gave it.
5?
Yeah, and they give The Life Aquatic 3. Empire, you're not a magazine, you're a catalogue.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Yes. You know, I actually rather like Empire, but it just seems a bit spineless as a magazine at the moment.
But what, Joe, man, that's the thing with the critical landscape in the modern world. It's totally uneven. It's ludicrous. What they should do is what Brian Eno suggests in his diaries,
Yeah.
is print at the bottom of every review their personal top 5 best and
So
worst.
you can tell how stupid they are.
Well, so
Or-
you've got some way of judging it. It's like, I mean, we shoot our mouths off on this show about all kinds of things in a very ill-informed way and
Yeah, true.
make a lot of people very irritated about our opinions.
True. But you know what? There's an American video games magazine called Electronic Gaming Monthly, and they have 3 people review everything. 3 little reviews instead of 1 big one.
Yeah.
That's quite a good technique. 3 differences of opinion.
People just love reviewing things, and it's the internet age of, you know, the internet style of criticism is just completely random and useless these
Yeah.
days. Word magazine, man. You should buy Word magazine.
Yeah, Word magazine is good. At least it's got lots of writing in it.
They
There's
take-
only about 3 articles in Empire. The rest of it's huge pictures of Ashton Kutcher and adverts for ringtones.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah. But Life Aquatic's brilliant. That's just the point I want to get across. Life Aquatic.
When does it
is
come
a
out?
flawed masterpiece. Couple of weeks.
I can't
And
wait
don't
to see
listen
it.
to people who just talk about the flaws and not the masterpiece aspect.
Like us, for example.
Yeah.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
That's very good. Spitting Games from Snow Patrol.
Well done, Snow Patrol.
Well
That's
done.
very good.
4 out of 5, I'd give that.
4 out of 5.
That was
Someone
just-
texted in angrily saying Ray deserves 10 out of 10.
10 out Was that actually Ray
That could
texting
be
him
Ray
from
himself,
the grave?
but yeah.
I'll tell you what, Ray is just a performance with no real film around it. It's an amazing performance from Jamie Foxx. Tour de force.
You know, the thing I think about biopics generally is they're always just lies. They're never right. So they're not really useful in terms of teaching you about someone, and they're also always very cliched because, you know, we both like biopics a lot because they always fall into the fantastic trap of having, you know, historicising